Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and I hope you had a great weekend. And today we're going to talk about how do you break up with a narcissist, or your toxic partner or your abusive partner. Like when you figured out that they're abusive, let's say you've done that Google search, or you've consulted with other survivors of abuse, or just you've consulted with someone, and you finally figured out they are manipulative and abusive ways. Of course, your dreams have been shattered, and then they've left a dent on who you are, and you might even wish you'd go back in time and not show up for that first date. But the reality is here with you now. Like you know they're abusive, you know they're like narcissistic, and you want to break up with them or you want to leave the relationship. And anyone who's been in an abusive relationship understands that ending that abusive relationship is not the same thing as ending a normal relationship, because there are some legit factors that may make it really hard for you to just leave, like your sense of compassion and empathy towards your abusive ex, hope that they will change, trauma bonds, feeling like love. They might also threaten you with harm or to ruin your life or to make you lose that job, or they might threaten you that you will not see your kids again, or you are financially dependent on them or emotionally dependent on them, or you just want to sacrifice yourself so that you can raise your kids in that traditional family unit. Those are just some of the few reasons I've gathered while coaching victims of abuse on what stopped them from leaving that toxic relationship. You see, a breakup with a narcissist is not like a normal breakup, because in a normal breakup, your partner will not smear your name in the neighborhood, or will not wage an all-out war against you, or will not jump into a new relationship that same day. In a normal breakup, aside from the heartache, you'll not be feeling fearful of what they may do or what they may not do when you leave them. Like you are not so fearful about the physical or the emotional tortures they'll put you through after you leave. Of course, the golden rule, once you figure out that your partner is abusive or narcissistic, is to leave immediately, go full no contact and heal. But unfortunately, this doesn't cut out to every victim of abuse because of a number of legit reasons like we listed above. So I'm going to share with you some of the ways you can break up with a toxic person once you figured them out and you really want to leave that relationship. So you figure them out and you now want to leave the relationship. How can you safely or securely break up with them? The first thing you can do is you can break up with a narcissist by just going cold turkey. This is where you don't wait for the right time to break up. You just do it even when you are not sure if you will pull it off or not. You just wake up and do it. You can create a safety plan, keep your essentials with you before you leave. Your heart may be aching and feeling so hurt, but you just leave to a safe space, go no contact, and then now once after you've left is now when you start planning from there. A safe space might be a friend, a trusted family member, or even a domestic violence shelter, or just anywhere you are sure that your abusive partner will not reach you. This is mostly advocated when you are dealing with a physically aggressive spouse or someone with very, very high levels of emotional abuse. Going cold turkey is more of your safety first, and then once you are safe is when now you start planning from there. It's more like leave, then readjust from there. And the thing is, if you have kids together, you can of course take stringent measures to ensure their safety. It's also good to know that an abusive person will probably get more violent when you are about to leave, because they know that they are about to lose you, and that's why you should exercise this with great caution. The key is to avoid any face-to-face confrontation as much as possible, and they should not know about your plans of leaving. So the thing is, you might leave when they are at work or when they have stepped out, or you might just fake something and then leave the relationship and then go no contact. Then from there, you now start planning how you are going to live your life or how you are going to execute that divorce or all those other things. The second way to break up with a narcissist is called weaning off the drug. You use this mostly when it's a long-term marriage and you have kids together and you have to sort some legal matters before you leave. It's not the easiest one for sure, because you are still living under the same roof with your abusive partner. So you figure them out, but you're still living under the same roof. With this method, you are sure that you are living, but you still need some time to plan and then execute that plan. It can be like sorting legal matters, sorting your finances, looking for a place to stay, or just any valid reason that will keep you in the same roof with your abusive partner. I made a video about this in the past. It's more like a gray area. It's more like you are living, but you're still planning yourself on how you will survive after you leave. So the key thing about this moment is to find ways in which you can live peacefully with them before you leave that relationship. So one thing to be wary of at this point is their love bombing, especially when they feel that you are starting to become distant. That's why you need to be smart in executing this. You can do this by creating dummy activities to keep you away from them, or minimizing situations that lead to arguments, or having zero expectations, or just anything that fits the idea of still wanting that relationship to work. And then the thing is, you should also not use this as a method, use this method as an excuse to prolong your stay in that relationship. The thing is, once you figure them out, you use each day and night to plan your exit and not to try to make the relationship work. I'll link a video where I explain this in the description so that you can really understand. It's more like just being peaceful at that moment, but knowing that I have a goal of leaving this relationship, let's say on this date. Once I finalize once I get my finances sorted out, once I get a place to stay, once I know my next step in life. The third way to break up with a narcissist is to use your anger. This is where you use the anger you have towards your partner to leave that relationship, because you've been traumatized to the point that you lack the motivation to leave the relationship. So the thing is, you reconnect the anger you have towards your spouse, towards the things they've done to you, towards the betrayal. And then now you use that as fuel to push you to your threshold, or to the point where you just wake up and pack your bags and leave. It's like you just psych yourself up and get so angry to the point that you just throw your hands up and say that enough is enough, and then you leave the relationship. For this method to be effective, you need to reconnect to each and every anger you have towards your partner. And even when they try to love bomb you or to win you back, you just reconnect to that anger. Instead that their words don't mean anything to you anymore. You are just so furious. And to really reach the boiling point of this, you can as well keep a journal of their abusive incidents, just as a reminder of what you are going through and how you are really furious about them. It's just about getting so angry to the point that you just want to throw your hands, or to the point that you just want to abandon them or discard them, because you are just so angry about their betrayal, angry about their cheating, angry about their lies, angry about their abuse. That's really a great one. The fourth way to break up with a narcissist, especially when you don't feel like doing it, or when you just don't have the energy to just wake up and leave, is to set ultimatums for yourself. An ultimatum can be something like telling yourself, if they call me those names, or if they raise a hand on me again, I'm leaving the relationship. It's more of like giving yourself conditions which you will not compromise, or which you will not go back against if someone violates them. And the thing is, you can as well reach out to that trusted friend or that loved one and tell them to keep you accountable on some of the ultimatums you've set for yourself. This is actually a good way if you just need that final push to cross the finishing line and dump the narcissist. To successfully pull this off, you should not take any more rationalizations, any more justifications, or any more apologies for their actions or behaviors. It's more like you just get to the point where enough is enough and you cannot forgive them or even rationalize anymore. In addition to this, you can add one more solid step that once you take it, there is no turning back. This is something that once you do, it will be embarrassing for you to go against it. Some examples of these solid steps can be things like changing your relationship status to single on social media, or calling a press conference that you are leaving your relationship. Not really that way, but I know you get the point. Or making a social media post that you are leaving the relationship, and so that everyone can see. So it's more like putting it out there in such a way that you cannot go against it. It's just pushing yourself to the point of no return, where the pain of breaking that promise is too much for you to bear. So you choose to keep the promise and leave the relationship. So you can get creative by asking yourself a question like this: what is the one thing you can do that would be so humiliating for you to go back against and stay in that relationship? So what's so humiliating in such a way that I choose to leave this relationship because I made this promise? So that's how you just really psych yourself up and really push yourself to that threshold. The other way you can use to break up with a narcissist is to be boring so that you will be discarded. You see, a narcissist doesn't enjoy the boredom, and they enjoy the thrill. So when you become boring to the point that they are disinterested in you, they may choose to discard you instead. With this technique, you just choose to cut their supply and become like a stone to their provocations, or just gently agree with what they say and choose not to play their games. You give them your boring side of life to the point that the narcissist would rather be seen hanging out with someone else aside from you. And when you bore them to death, they will choose to ditch you and look for new supply. This method is only recommended when you cannot avoid talking to the narcissist, and you just use the time they are away from you to plan your exit. So because you are boring, they'll step away from you a little bit. So now they are away, you now plan your exit. Of course, it's not the most recommended method, because some toxic people may see this as a challenge and may up their game. And the thing is, it also plays into their hands, because you are dependent on their actions for you to leave the relationship. So you just use it when you can't really discuss them and you don't really know what to do. So you just become boring. And you should also use it when you are ready to be discarded. The last thing you can do to break up with a narcissist is called the take no shit method, or the boundary setting method. This is where you keep the narcissist off by firmly standing on your feet and calling them out on their abusive actions and behaviors. You call them out on their bullshit every time they try to gaslight you or to manipulate you. This method only works when you are really strong on what you stand for and you don't really care much about how they respond. And this will work well with a narcissist who love easy prey and will not dare pit themselves with an assertive person. So it's that kind of narcissist who they are not really that assertive and they just want easy prey. So when you stand for yourself, they'll choose to step away. It's the point where you understand your boundaries, that a narcissist or a manipulative person will not penetrate and will choose to step away. You can use this in that early stages of the relationship where your reality has not been distorted and they don't understand much about your weaknesses for them to exploit. So you just use it at the point where you feel that the narcissist is very vulnerable. But you should be wary of the fact that your assertiveness may also be a great challenge to a narcissist for them to keep trying to break you down. They might also pull more cards and go hard on you just to break you. That's why this method should be the last one in your list. And when a narcissist knows that you figure them out before they get a grip in that relationship, they may choose to walk away and look somewhere else. Well, early on when they know that you figure them out, you know their methods, you know their everything, you know that they are manipulative, they might choose to step away and say let me try somewhere else. But in the latter stages of the relationship, when you figure them out, when you are still you don't know your boundaries, you are still low in self-esteem, or you are still traumatized, they will lash back at you. So it's a very good one in the early stages. When you figure them out, the goal is not to prolong your stay in the relationship or to just cope with it. The main goal should be to go full no contact or minimize contact and heal. All your energy, time, and efforts should be rechanneled to getting to this point. And regardless of the method you use to break up with a narcissist, the goal is to get you back, which is to get your happy self back. It may, of course, look impossible, or you may feel like you are doomed to stay in that relationship forever. But I want to remind you this, that as long as there is even that small speck of light, there's still hope. Even when there's no light, just light the thing up yourself. And if you focus each day and each night planning your way forward instead of looking for a glimmer of hope that they are changing or justifying their behaviors and action, then you'll be free. Focus more on how you can set yourself free instead of focusing more on how you can set them free. It will happen. You just have to give it more effort and priority because your life depends on it. You deserve a life of freedom, respect, and love. Even if you don't feel like you deserve it, you deserve it. You've just forgotten about it because of the countless emotional and psychological tortures you've been through. So, break up with that narcissist or leave them and then find peace. Don't find peace for them. Find your own peace. Hope this was helpful, guys. Feel free to share, subscribe, and comment. And as always, if you need any help in moving forward through this, click the link in the description and book a free call with me today. Until next time, see ya.